Hey guys, and welcome back to the second part of this video. And what we're gonna see on this video is the performance tests of the Imac 2014 21-inch 21.5 inch. So if you're not aware of the specs, just go to the previous video. I'll post the link over here if I don't forget. If I forget, just remind me. There are a lot of machines that, well, a few machines that will be comparing with this one here. So when you see them on the graphs, if you're not sure as well, if you just saw this video first, you can go to the other video and see the specs and see a little bit of me talking. I know sometimes it's boring, but hey, this is how I like to do my videos, and that is it. So let's jump into the Adobe Premiere rendering times. Let's put in the graphic. Okay, so for the first test on Adobe Premiere rendering times, sorry, we need to go back to the first graph. Okay, so this is correct. For the first test, we are using a 10-minute footage, and on that 10-minute footage we are rendering to H.264 QuickTime H.264 with no effects at all, just the video itself. So let's see the results. Now this is a graphic that you are used to see if you are a subscriber or if you watched some of my previous videos, and all these three have been done for quite a while. This is the new test, just to compare to other machines. And to be honest, if you're not doing any major effects, the results will be mostly, and you are comparing a machine that costs 1,350 euros base model with a machine that costs 2,600 euros. This is the model, the top end model Macbook Pro 15-inch late 2013, and of course the Mac Mini. And you can see the specifications on the previous video, 14 minutes and 6 seconds. Of course, here's my main computer, Windows 8. The i7-4770K takes 7 minutes and 18. So you just have to scale this. This is a 10 minutes footage. You just have to scale it to 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever you are doing on your videos. Now let's see Adobe After Effects with 3 effects applied: curves, fast color correction, and sharpen. So here are the graphs, and in here we can see a big difference between the iMac, for example, and my main computer, which actually does not slow down with any effects. 7 minutes 43 seconds, and if we go here, 7 minutes and 18 seconds, which is nothing. I don't know if I'm out of frame. Which is nothing major. Why? Because of the GPU. The GPU, in this case the GTX 760, will handle these effects, so the CPU will not be overloaded, as opposed in this case the iMac, the Mac Mini. They get really intensive tasks to do on the CPU, and of course this one here being an i5 quad-core i5, this one being a quad-core i7, which has 8 threads, will take a little bit less time, even though the experience is not good. For a 10 minutes video rendering 45 minutes, wow, it's a lot. 60 minutes, it's a lot. If you make a video of I don't know, 30 minutes, half an hour, you will take 3 hours to render that video with these effects. So regarding Adobe Premiere, or regarding the Mac system or any other computer that doesn't have a GPU with CUDA-Core enabled, and that's NVIDIA technology, I do not advise to use Adobe Premiere with those kind of machines. I do advise Adobe Premiere. I enjoy working with it, but the deal is, if you don't have a nice GPU, consider a machine with a nice GPU, or consider another software, which we're gonna see next. Final Cut Pro 10 rendering times. So Final Cut Pro 10, there are a lot of people that doesn't like, and if you search on Google, you'll see a lot of comments. especially people that used Final Cut Pro 7, I think it was called that way, and then when they revamped the software to Final Cut Pro X or Final Cut Pro 10, people didn't like. I never tried Final Cut Pro previous versions, only Final Cut Pro 10. So what I can say, in my opinion, is a very simple software to work with, very friendly, and with nice results on this kind of machines. So 10 minutes on Final Cut Pro 10, iMac takes 2 minutes and 32. My Mac Mini takes 2 minutes and 45. And in here it's a bit confusing because one is i7, one is i5. This one is Aswell, this is Ivy Bridge. I did the tests a lot of time, but still had roughly 15 seconds difference, almost 15. And then we had the Macbook Pro i7 2.3, if I'm not wrong. If I am, just check the previous video, and you'll see the specs there. 2.18. So the overall experience here is great. Now, this machine, is it made to do video editing? Is it its purpose? I don't think so, not in my opinion. But as an overall machine where you want to be able to do some spreadsheets, some docs, browsing, emails, and you want also to be able to do some videos for your family, from your kids. I know I do a lot for my kids. Then I think, and this is my opinion, Final Cut Pro 10 is the way to go on OS 10. There's if you see these timings, there's no comparison possible with any other software. Well, not that I'm aware of. The both that I use is Premiere and Final Cut Pro 10. So now let's see Final Cut Pro 10 with these effects: color correction, curves, and sharpen. I put the hashes here because it's not exactly the same effect, although you get almost the same final result. So if you are used to Final Cut Pro 10, it will be easy to find these effects. If not, it's just a question of playing around with the software a few minutes and you will get there. So now let's see the timings that we have here. So we have the iMac with 6 minutes, and then we have the Mac Mini with 9 minutes and 17 seconds, and the MacBook Pro with 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Okay, so what's the major differences here? First of all, the GPU. As you are aware of, this particular model of iMac uses the Iris Pro graphics, Intel HD 5200 model. Mac Mini uses the HD 4000, and the MacBook Pro in this case is using the GTX 750. So this is the real difference here, not so much the CPU but the GPU. I bet that if we made the tests, and I didn't have the chance to do it, but if we did this same test on a new Mac Pro, you would get, I don't know, very little time in rendering. But is it worth it? Can you wait 6 minutes to render 10 minutes? And this 10 minutes I'm talking about is with these effects really hard. So you have to consider when spending money if it's worth it or not, this scaling. Now let's go to After Effects. Okay, so in here we have a lot of machines. So all of these except the new Mac Pro and the iMac 21-inch were done on the past, and as I said, this one was with the help of a community member of Mac Room forums, if I'm not mistaken, that's the name, and the iMac 27-inch the same. So let's see what we have here. Our first iMac rendering the dramatic film strip photos template. I will try to put a small preview here just so you can see type of template that it is. It's available on my channel and available on my portfolio to be purchased, but here it is. This particular template has a lot of layers in each composition. Each composition has between 10 and 30 effect layers. So it takes 46 minutes on the iMac, 44 on the Mac Mini, on the MacBook Pro almost half an hour, on the iMac 25, on my main workstation 25, and on the new Mac Pro takes 21 minutes. Now there is two things I would like to mention before I forget. The iMac top of the line 27-inch with everything blown up to the max takes exactly the same time as my i7 4770K, non-overclocked standard. So it's two machines that work the same way, which, if we see the scale of pricing, I think it's the best price point and performance that you can get out of any of these test systems. The other thing that I would like to mention is the timings that you see here on the new Mac Pro, 6 cores D5 and dual D500 with 64 gigabytes of RAM, is on this particular template, and will be on the others as well. On the others, depending on the template and depending on the computer, but will be on the others as well, exactly the same timing of the CPU i7 4930K that I also made a video about, the i7 4930K and the i7 4770K. So the price points and the performance is not that huge, especially if you are working like me in After Effects, which is my main software. If you are editing 4K videos, which I don't, then you might want to consider something more powerful. But for After Effects, which is a very intensive CPU task, and this is what you can see here, i5, i7, but i7 it's a Ivy Bridge 2.3. This is the new Ivy Aswell CPU 2.3. This is the iMac with the 3.5 turbo boost that to 3.9, if I'm not mistaken. This one is exactly the same, but it can be overclocked, and this one not. And this one is the Xeon CPU, which once again takes the same amount of time of the 4930K. Another thing is we have a machine here that costs 800 euros, and we have a machine here that costs 5,000 euros. So there's a big difference between all of these. We are talking about 1,350 euros, 800 euros, 2,600 euros, 3,200 euros top spec. This one 1,500, but if you include the screens and monitors, will be at 2,000 and something. And this one, of course, 5,300. You can save a little bit on the iMac if you buy the memories on a retailer instead of Apple, which is fine, and you will save, don't know, 200-300 euros maybe. And the same on the new Mac Pro. If you buy the memories outside Apple ecosystem, you will get cheaper prices. So, but I think we've got a nice scaling of prices and performance here that will help most of you to make a few decisions. Now, After Effects ray tracing, and this is a test that you can make on your own to see the performance of your actual system and the performance of your probably upgradable system. So Teddy Gauge, just search for this on the Google, Teddy Gauge benchmark CS6. It will run on any version of CS6, any version of After Effects above or CS6. So let's see the timings. iMac, no surprise here. And to be honest, I didn't even finish the test. I just made it 180 minutes because that was the first result that the Mac Mini was giving. And to be honest, any machine that doesn't have CUDA core enabled will not have great results on this one. I'm really curious to know how would the new Mac Pro, I didn't have the chance to make that or to ask that, but to see, because new Mac Pro has the AMD GPUs, no, not the NVIDIA's. So I was curious to know if any of you watching this has a new Mac Pro and wants to do the video and share. I will for sure include it in this graphic over here. That would be really great for all of that watch the video, and including myself, of course, because I like to know these things when comparing machines. But as you can see here, no dedicated GPUs, and all of these with dedicated GPUs. So this is not a great result, taking concern that this template is 6 seconds. This template is 6 seconds duration, and it's really intensive on the GPU. So takes 27 minutes here, 45 minutes here, and 6 minutes point 42 here. Now let's see what we have next. Okay, Motion 5 rendering times, which is another software that it was the first software that I bought from Apple when I bought my Mac Mini, and I thought it worked similarly to After Effects, and After Effects uses mostly the CPU and RAM, and the GPU only on ray tracing. That's about it. The previews and all sorts of things are RAM and CPU. That's it. So if you are building a machine for After Effects, CPU, RAM, of course, SSD and whatever, but the GPU is not as much important unless you want to work with ray tracing. Now let's see the timings here. So on this photo slideshow template, which I will try to make a preview here, small preview, just to let you know what it is. Nothing special, really clean, really nice and simple look. Takes 3 minutes here, 5 minutes on a Mini, 5 minutes and a half. On a MacBook Pro with the Iris Pro, and this was a bit weird because this graphic card here is exactly the same as this one, and this one was taking a little bit less, even though this CPU is higher than this one. And I did run the test for a few times because it was really fast, so I could afford to do that, and was getting the results exactly the same. So this one didn't speed up as I was thinking, but hey, that's how things work. And then the MacBook Pro with the GTX 750M, 3 minutes and 35, so a little bit less than the iMac. So this iMac is really capable of rendering templates. Now let's go to the Motion 5 rendering times, and this is a template. You already saw it on previous videos, I think. It has an effect which is motion blur, and motion blur really pushes sorry, the GPU. So let's see how this works here. Now iMac, this particular model that I'm recording the video, 33 minutes. Mac Mini took 54 minutes. So you can see definitely an improvement from the Intel HD 4000 for the Intel HD 5200, also known as, or aka, Iris Pro graphics card. And then the MacBook Pro with just Iris, once again taking a little bit more than the iMac. This once again led me curious, but hey, that's it. With the GTX 750M working took 21 minutes, and then the iMac took 12 minutes and 5 seconds, and the new Mac Pro took 6 minutes. So once again, my point is iMac 27-inch. Regarding price, if you really need the OS 10, regarding price, and of course for Motion 5 you will need OS 10. That was my reason of getting a Mac, was Motion 5. But the price point of the iMac, it's really what my opinion is worth it. Going for a 5,000 machine, from 3,000 to 5,000, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So you have to think carefully your investment if you are pondering making 4K videos or not. I'm not at the moment. I don't see the use for myself, but you will have to consider this. Now, conclusion: iMac 21-inch, late 2013. It's a great all-in-one, and that's my opinion. The experience that I have here with this machine, which is not mine, it's for my wife. I'm just using now as a transition machine because I sold, as I said on the previous video, I sold my Mac Mini. I need a Mac system for me, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get a Mac Mini depends on what they release or not in October. We are waiting forever, and the Mac Mini lovers know that we are waiting forever to see some news on the Mac side, especially on the Mac Mini. So this is just a transition machine for me. What I do right here is I haven't created an interplate from scratch on this computer. I have rendered a few, and what I can say, it's work great for the level that it is. You are talking about a 1350 machine, so you cannot expect, and though that price includes this IPS panel and the keyboard and the mouse and whatnot. By the way, I don't really like this mouse. If I get an iMac for myself, if I'm forced to get an iMac, but that's another video, I will not get this for myself. I don't like it. I think I already said this in one video. I use this Performance M-Shish, which is 10 hours straight on the mouse and on the keyboard, and no tension on my arms. Let's get back to the topic. In conclusion, it's a great machine for an overall experience, and as you can see by this video editing tests, if a computer is able to do video editing, is almost able to do all the rest that we do daily by daily. I'm not talking about engineering or any medical, I don't know. There are softwares that I'm not aware of, and softwares that really needs computing power, and those softwares, I'm not the right person to ask, hey, is it great for this or not? But what I can say is, for the regular usage, if you find a computer that as standard can make video editing, it will make a lot of the things that you need. Photo editing, browsing emails and YouTube and Facebook is everybody uses Facebook. So my opinion is, do I regret purchasing this? Not at all. My wife is happy, she likes the looks, it was a great deal for me and, well, of course, my family. It is a great machine for its price point again. So I'm going to make another video next if I have time to, regarding if it's worth it or not. So if you want to watch a little bit more of me talking of some ideas, maybe these ideas are not the facts, but sometimes these ideas make you, in this case, think of another point of view, and from that point of view, I don't know, more questions, more research, and so you get a more educated purchase when you do. At least that's what I do on all the hardware that I have, and it's not it's just a one-man office, but it's not a small budget for the all hardware. Finishing up, is it worth it? Yeah, for the specifications, for the software that it brings, ecosystem, the price point that I got on this particular case, yes, it is. But I will do another video regarding that. In conclusion, what I can say is that for all this casual use and some video editing and working with one After Effects template or another for your personal use, to deliver to clients, I wouldn't advise that. But for your personal use, you want to buy a template, you want to put the pictures of your kids, you don't want to have much trouble with your work, you just want something different, something original. This machine is capable of doing. So yeah, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Hope you enjoyed, and bye bye.